So if you don't have them approaching, and you're the one that has to approach, you're setting yourself up to be with a guy that's going to be beta.
Very few women will approach a guy.
And they'll divorce them, for sure.
Break that down. You're saying that if a girl approaches the guy,
yeah.
What's going to happen?
So I've talked about this a lot, because this is what I used to do. Is if I liked a guy, I gave him my number, I would date him. I'm like, if I want it, I have it type thing. But so what I figured out was if I do that, I end up leading in the relationship inevitably, because it's the first encounter. If the guy doesn't have the balls to approach me, he's probably not alpha, or probably isn't assertive enough to the point where I would have genuine desire for him.
And then what happens in the relationship?
I end up using him, or I can't look up to him. He's like repulsive to me.
Because he's not the alpha and taking charge, you're saying?
It doesn't even have to be alpha, but assertive traits, like some traits. It's not like a full, like alpha, I think, is a placeholder term, but I'm talking about traits. Like you have to have a mix of both, you know?
Rollo, as the intersexual dynamics expert here, break down what she's saying.
Well, I mean, women cannot look up to a man that they don't admire. They can't look up to an equal. They can't look up to somebody who is... when they meet him, he's one way, and when they get together with him, he becomes something else.
Yeah.
And so what it does is it triggers this existential fear in women that like the guy tricked them. You came off as looking like Justin Waller, and you're very high value and very alpha and everything. And then once you get into that relationship, then the guy turns very passive. Oh, I'm vulnerable and I'm emotional. Goes really emotional, and it's like it's really a form of buyer's remorse almost. It's like buyer's regret at that point, and it's triggering to women because that remorse is attached to their reproductive, solving the reproductive problem. So if she gets into a relationship with a guy who sells himself as being like sort of an alpha male guy, and then later on becomes beta, then it's like, oh my God, I got tricked, and I might actually have this guy's babies. How am I going to get out of this? And then there's also the investment cost that goes into that as well. Yeah. So spending time with that guy, developing a relationship with that guy, having sex with that guy, whatever it ends up being, you've got like three months in, maybe a year in, and you go, oh my God, he's actually not like that. He's really kind of
fraud.
He pussed out at the
But what's wrong with that? If you date a guy for a month or two and it just doesn't work out, you're not marrying this guy.
No,
what's the problem?
No, but there's only a short
you.
amount of time where women are at their sort of their peak potential at that time, and they're trading that off for like saying, okay, I'm going to put some time and energy and investment into this guy. And if it turns out that he's not the guy that's ready for he's not a good long-term prospect because he sold himself as one thing and then he became something later on. Like that's the number one thing that guys will hit me up about is they'll say, Rollo, how do I get the frame back? I was so alpha when we were dating and then we got married and now I lost the frame and she has no respect for me and I'm in a sexless marriage or whatever and she wants babies but I don't know if we should give her babies. And so it's like he was one thing when he was single and he becomes something else when he's married.
What do you tell them when they lose this frame?
They need to get back in touch with that what was it that made them different when they were single than they are when they're married. And then also it's like they need more polarity in the relationship. Healthy relationships are not based on like commonalities or compatibility or open communications. It's based on polarity. Likes do not attract. Opposites attract.
Even in the most egalitarian countries, they end up falling into gender roles. Like they choose to do that, the women and the men. So that's
in the most egalitarian. What is that? Scandinavian countries?
Yeah.
What are the most? Okay.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson's talked about that.
And what happens in these countries?
So like in the countries where women and men are the most equal you can be, women end up falling into like the nurturing role inevitably, and men go into like a more masculine role.
Isn't that just like the reversion to the mean? You just go into your natural habitats?
It makes us
natural
more
sexual dimorphism.
Yeah, it's like the more egalitarian a country is, the more that you will be. What is it? The differences are exacerbated between.
So where's
the
America
sexes.
in that?
We're not the most egalitarian country in the world. That's why.
We're fighting.
That's why they always look at like say Denmark and Scandinavia and like Norway and stuff like that as being the most egalitarian countries. And so that what that is meant. The reason why they go there is because the gender parity, like you've heard of what is it? Equality of opportunity. Both men and women can be anything they want to. In those countries, and women tend to default to what we would consider more conventionally feminine jobs and roles, and that kind of stuff.
But what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
There's
nothing at all.
But it shows you that even when you make things equal, even if you make things equal, women will still.
There it is, right there. You're saying if you can try all you freaking want to make us exactly the same and exactly equal, but no, it doesn't work that way.
It is equality of outcome, right?
We try to make that's the. You want to know the difference between those countries and this?
Yeah, go ahead.
We concentrate on equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity here.
Well, in some of the countries, the outcome there is equality of outcome, and that's where it's like stupid economy wise because you have a teacher making the same as a doctor.